time for some Friday night vlogging. Here's the deal. I'm on my way to get some hot dog buns at the market and also some heavy cream for the coffee for tomorrow, and I'll be good. But I encountered a video that I did back in 2017 that I want to share with you some parts of that video. And I brought up the topic, can men and women be friends? Is it possible? There were times in my life where I said, yes, that's possible. There's times in my life where I said, there's no way that that's a possibility. And I guess depending where I've been at, I have had mixed emotions about it. Not just knowledge, but emotions that accompany that knowledge. I have had female friends that I quote-unquote broke up with because I felt like I was getting taken advantage of. And it wasn't me being like beta male trying to beta my way into a girl's life. I always thought to myself that if I was going to be friends with a woman, if she gets a boyfriend, then I would be friends with the guy. Anytime I ever tried that, the guy was always very suspect of me, especially if it was someone who I had done things with, out and about on the weekends, go out dancing with, go out to dinner with. And in between girlfriends and after I was married, I've always been friends. I was friends with women before I was married and many after I was married. So I find that there's a lot of teaching about that. For instance, things like, if you're not banging her, then you're just her girlfriend. I get that, and to a certain extent, I agree with that. But I also found that if I shut myself off to the female spirit, that I was depriving myself of something very special. Now, there's a lot of guys that are in the black pill hate stage of their life, recently divorced or broken up with, and there's just a lot of darkness there. And I get that too, 100% get that. So I'm not taking sides with anyone. I just felt that when I shut the door like that, that I literally blocked myself off to feminine influence. I actually got kicked out of a singles group once, actually two singles groups. First one was a divorce recovery group where they said, stay away from all females. And I said, no, the feminine spirit can help me recover. So literally, when I was going through pain, just going out with a female friend for a cup of coffee was healing for me. Because my first reaction was, I don't want to be around any women. And to be around someone who wasn't trying to get something from me was a very beautiful thing. And it was, for me, it was part of the healing process. And then another situation was, back when my hair was a little bit darker, I had a goatee, I would be considered probably a little, I guess, more handsome than I am now. Now I kind of have kind of an old man vibe, and I get that too, but that's my choice. I would go out to clubs and so forth, and where there was bands, and I was a pretty charming guy, masculine, and always had the women making their way to me at all times. I actually got kicked out of that singles group and was told to never come back again because I was literally surrounded by women. And the more beta type guys would say, hey, he's hogging all the women to himself. It wasn't like it was a pre-planned, orchestrated event. I would go well-groomed, smelling good, clothes pressed, friendly, smiling, enjoying myself, and then that would just happen. So I've gone to some pretty, I would say some pretty far extremes. I never ever did the, that's it, I'm done with women kind of thing. I never did that because the feminine spirit was too valuable for healing and for insight for my own pain. In 2017, I tackled this topic with a friend of mine from college. We knew each other in college 35, I hate to say this, it's 35 to 40 years ago. long time ago. And when we re-encountered each other after divorce and all of that stuff, and kids and everything, we had a talk about, can men and women be friends? And I had spent a lot of time with this person in a friendly manner. But we talked about, can men and women be friends? And I think I bring up some very lucid points. She brings up some good points. Some of the points will be criticized terribly by many in the men's community, and I understand that. I understand how that can happen. I can see how men would, especially like the men's community, like the red pill men's community, I can see where they just would not understand this, and they're going to read into it. I'm going to show you a little bit of that conversation. I want to show it to you, some excerpts from that conversation that happened about 3 years ago. You might benefit from it, you might not. I'm interested in your thoughts. Put your comments down below, and we'll just see. If anything, it will start a dialogue and a conversation that some people will benefit from, learn from my mistakes, but learn from my successes too. You know, we're put on this earth to glorify God. We are. And I haven't always glorified God with my behavior. But here's a conversation. It wasn't planned. There's no bullet points. It was just kind of free-flowing. You might learn something from it. You might not. It might make you more bitter. It might lighten you up a little bit. Listen to it with an open mind. Since it was recorded 3 years ago, I have even grown with differing opinions since then. And you'll notice how my attitude and perspective and mindset about certain things has changed. And you'll see those things right away. But I think this is worth watching. A mostly cloudy day. There's some blue sky. A little kind of humid.
There's a little humidity in the air.
A little humid, yeah. Are you overdressed? Are you getting hot?
A little bit.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
When the sun's out, I'm hot.
Yeah.
When the sun goes back in, then I'm okay.
But you're hot anyways, sun or no sun. Yeah. Well, sunshine, this is fantastic, wow. I'm digging the sunshine. All right, so the topic for today is, I didn't think about this, I'm making this up right now as we're talking. Can men and women be friends? Is that a good topic?
Absolutely.
All right, so let's talk about that. And of course, there have been some great movies made about that. When Harry Met Sally, with Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan. Classic, can men and women be friends? What are your thoughts? Thank you for yanking me out of traffic. See that? That's a true friend will yank you out of traffic. Let's talk, what are your thoughts on how men and women can be friends?
I very much think that men and women can be friends. I think there's definitely components between a male and female that we need and feed off each other. So there's positive to that.
Complementary things?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nurturing versus stronger upper body.
Yeah. You know, when I see Jody going to take her jacket off, I immediately reach to help her take her coat off or help her put it on.
This is true. So as George was saying, how he protects women by standing on the outer side of the doorway or going to help with the car door or coat. When George woke up this morning and came down, I immediately got his cup of coffee and asked what he wanted for breakfast and made him breakfast as my guest in my home. I
love that. I mean, and to me, you know, what's interesting is a lot of people, here's my take on that, is that if people You see, guys will act differently in a romantic relationship as opposed to a friendship, but I think my opinion is there are universal behaviors. The blurring of lines, I do believe, like, first, any woman that's offended by a man opening up a door, guys, you don't want to be near her because she doesn't enjoy you being a man. You like a man to be a man, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, and I like being a man. I don't want to be a woman. I want to be a man. So I've been friends with for over 30 years. I'm protective of her. She'll scoot me off the road if traffic is coming. I'll do the same. Are we going down there?
Yep.
Okay. I am a gentleman as much as I possibly can be or am allowed to be. And I'll tell you what, it's nice to be with a woman who likes a man and likes a man to be a gentleman. That's, you know, 2 thumbs up, right?
Yeah.
So she's making me coffee in the morning and I feel protective of her while we're out and about. And I think that's what I would call universal gentleman's behavior. And I know I have a lot of young men watching. And the difference between someone going for it, a man going for it, you know what I mean? Like making a move on it, being aggressive. There's a difference, and the woman knows the difference. A woman knows when a man is a gentleman and when a man is being a gentleman as a reason to get something. Yeah, exactly.
Get a little something, something.
A little something, something. Exactly. So I enjoy being a gentleman with ladies. That's something I enjoy doing. I used to say I'm a man's man, but not a ladies' man, if that makes any sense to people. A man's man is protective. He's a good provider. Whereas the ladies' man is out for himself. A man's man is out for the safety and welfare of the female. The ladies' man is out for himself and what he can get. And I think there's a big difference, and those lines have been blurred in society today. And I love the idea of men getting back to being men. Guys, it's okay to hold the chair for a lady. Do you like that? If a guy holds a chair for you,
yes, I do.
Takes your coat. You know, like in the wild, you know how like monkeys groom one another? Like today in church, you like picked something off my sock. I mean, I'm like...
It was a long hair.
It was a long hair. It was like on my sock. Like, you know. So people that genuinely have care and concern for one another take care of one another. You know, you're going out somewhere and someone's got a piece of lint. It doesn't mean you're in love. It could mean you're in love because you do that out of love. But it's also care and concern and respect for the other. Do you feel respected by me?
Yes.
Okay. I just want... What if she said no? Now that would suck before like thousands of people. Do you have like an internal sense of whether a man can protect you?
Yes.
And okay,
yes.
Okay. That's what I'm getting at. It looks like it does go around. Yeah. And I think women know that. Women know when a man can step up to the plate if he has to. Like.
But going back to our original topic of can men and women be friends, I absolutely agree with that. We've had a lovely 24 plus hours so far, and it's been a great overdue visit.
Absolutely. Friendships last is because of people's hearts, because over long periods of time, people reveal their true hearts to you. And that's real important, is that you kind of look at people over a long period of time. Don't make judgments on, like, everybody has a bad day, everybody has a bad week, everybody can have a bad month. I mean, like, after my divorce, God forbid, like anyone that I met right after my divorce, I don't want to say I feel sorry for them, but it wasn't the true me. They were looking at a discombobulated me. And sometimes it takes time to settle down before the real you starts showing. And amongst my group of friends, those of us who have been divorced, we've all come to each other's aid during that time of discombobulation and support one another. And sometimes years would go by before you would see somebody, but obviously you just pick up almost immediately. So altogether, this walk is gonna, let's see, we probably walked a good, I'm guessing 2.5 miles to get here. It looks like this is a loop, so we're going to head back. So it's going to end up being a 5-mile walk, which means I definitely worked off the big pasta dinner last night. All right, folks, so final word, we're going to wrap this up. Final word is with the right motivations, and if those motivations are received correctly, men and women can be friends. And let me put it this way. You remember? Does anyone remember that there was a group called Shy, S-H-A-I, from the late 80s, early 90s, and they had a song called If I Ever Fall in Love Again. And some of the words were, if I ever fall in love again, I will be sure that the lady is a friend. And one of the things that I think, when you look back, now I've been divorced for many, many years, I think I got married, I think I got married to get married. I don't know. It's hindsight is 20/20. But let me put it this way. So many people that I talk to say after their divorce that their spouse wasn't a friend. And I mean, can you think of a better way to, if you are moving in the direction of marriage, not to look for a spouse? Hindsight does give you some wisdom. Rather than, for you young people, the young men and women watching this, would it be a better technique not to look for a spouse, but to look for a friend?
Absolutely.
Because when shit hits the fan,
You want your best friend.
the best friend.
You really want your best friend.
So, men, be a gentleman. Don't sweep them off their
Just
feet.
be a friend. Don't look for sex. Just be a friend.
That's it. And if love ever grows out of it, guess what the benefit is?
Friend.
You're marrying a friend. So when shit hits the fan in the marriage, guess what you rely on? When things aren't like really passionate and romantic and like you hate each other, you're still friends. And that is, I think, the foundation of anything that's lasting. Of course, I'm saying that in hindsight.
Exactly. Live and learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Older and wiser.
Do you agree with that?
Older and wiser. Absolutely.
All right, everybody, thanks for joining today, whenever you're watching, and wherever you're watching from. Signing out from Central Pennsylvania, it's George
And Jody.
See you, folks.